If the Earth were actually this size, the International Space Station would be orbiting at about half an inch above the surface. And that dude who jumped out of a perfectly good balloon, Felix Baumgartner, he would have been about 2 millimeters above the surface of this globe. That's his edge of space jump. They made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide angled lens, which curves horizontal lines. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface and you say, wow, he's in space, look at that. No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you're 2 millimeters above this beach ball. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Good afternoon. I thought I would do this segment. It should be a short one, but that's not saying much. Short is usually anywhere from half an hour to an hour, but I'm going to try to keep it short because my wife and my kids are taking a nap, so I have time to do this. So let's start off by looking at this video. So I was talking with Mia, and this was on Friday night, and she said something, and I'll play it back, and I couldn't really, there's a lot she wanted to talk about, so I went with that. But this is a question that people have a lot, or they see something, but if you just ask that question, at what altitude do you start seeing the curvature of the Earth? Well, that's a tough answer. And why is it so tough? I mean, the first photograph of Earth from space was in October 24th, 1946. And we don't know at what altitude we start seeing the curvature of Earth. It's 2019. That's 75 years. It's been 75 years. And if you try to look up at what altitude you're going to start seeing the curvature of Earth, people are confused. I mean, it should be set in stone by now. 75 years. All right, so let's play this back.
I don't know. That dude, who was that Red Bull guy? Like, golly, that's been like 6 years ago. He went up like 150,000 feet, and you could see it. And that had nothing to do with NASA. You could see it.
Not really. They use GoPro wide-angle lens, which would make everything curved.
Stop it! Why?
No, seriously.
Look.
And besides,
why do you think a Red Bull guy would give a shit back then about what
Red Bull
why do you? That's what I'm
advertisement?
saying. Don't.
All right. I get that all the time. Trust me, I was there too. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, and all the links are in the description box. He tweeted on February 6, 2014. Wide angle lens curve horizontal lines, so no Earth curvature for Felix at 3 times an airplane's altitude. And the Red Bull altitude, he jumped from 128,000 feet. So you're not supposed to see curvature at 128,000 feet from Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a well-known, widely known astrophysicist. And when I was looking up all these, like, okay, what does a .gov source say about when does the Earth curvature start, at what altitude? And it's very difficult to see. I can't get anything. But there is one thing that I did find. This was in a blog from blogs.nasa.gov. And it's NASA Earth Expedition Solo Science flying at 65,000 feet. Photo, I guess, is by Steve Cole, September 12, 2016, but this article is by Ellen Gray at Walvis Bay, Namibia. It says, Stu Brose loves flying high. The view is incredible. You can see 300 miles away, he said from the cockpit of NASA's high-altitude ER-2 research craft. You can see the curvature of the Earth. If you look up, the sky is very dark blue. So if you can see the curvature of the Earth at 65,000 feet, and you can't even see it at 128,000 feet, said so by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Who's right? Is NASA correct? Is this when you start seeing the curvature of the Earth? Is that 65,000 feet? And you can watch the full video of the Felix Baumgartner space, and you can see horizontal when he's looking through there. But then, of course, you see big round curvature when you're outside of the vehicle that he's in. So you see a horizontal flat plane from that angle, and then when the video is taken from outside of that vehicle, it's very, very curved. But there's also something, so a lot of people don't know. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he was on South by Southwest Live in 2014, and this is on South by Southwest page, and you could watch it. I even put the thing down, so it's an hour 9 minutes long. Hour 9 minutes. You can just see the whole thing if you want. I'm just going to focus in at the 31-minute mark in 1 second. Okay, I'm just going to play it back.
This size. Okay, so if the Earth were actually this size, the International Space Station would be orbiting about a half an inch above the surface. And that dude who jumped out of a perfectly good balloon, what's his name? Felix Baumgartner. He would have been about 2 millimeters above the surface of this globe. That's his edge of space jump. Now, you know, I don't. It's fine. He wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. Right. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, "Wow, he's in space. Look at that." No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you are 2 millimeters above this beach ball. You just don't. That stuff is flat.
Thank you, Kathy B. Haha. All right. I muted myself and I forgot to unmute myself. All right. Let me just repeat it again. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I hate it when I do that. Okay. So Neil deGrasse Tyson says it right there. And you're not going to find the answer to at what altitude does the curvature of Earth start? One, it's either because there is no curvature, it's flat, or two, they're lying about the curvature of when it starts, and they don't want to have a government or institution like NASA to give out the answer, because if they give out the answer, well, then somehow, someday, someone is going to prove it wrong.
Can I go upstairs?
Mm-hmm. So what you're going to see instead are just people, excuse me, on Stack Exchange, at Quora.com, How It Works Daily, etc. Places where people haven't gone up to space. Of course, NASA does, right? And private institutions do. They don't give you that answer. People who don't know go up there. And I would hazard a guess that a lot of these people who answer at what height do you start to see the curvature of the Earth, they're going to not know as much as Neil deGrasse Tyson. As far as an authority figure, you're going to want to go by Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? Not some average Joe off the street hazarding a guess. Again, 75 years since the first photograph of Earth was taken from space. They don't specify at what height that this photo was taken. Oh, actually, yeah, they don't. They say until this point, the highest vantage point from which those photos have been taken was some 22 kilometers aboard a high altitude balloon. And let's see. And that is only 72,000 feet. And Neil deGrasse Tyson says, well, at 128,000 feet, which is about 50% more than 72,000 feet, you're not going to see the curvature of the Earth. Closest we got to an answer from NASA, blogs.nasa.gov, by Ellen Gray, Stu Brose, or Brose, I don't know. He says you can see the curvature of the Earth at 65,000 feet, which an astrophysicist does not say you can even see it at 128,000 feet. So what is it? I mean, no one knows. Why does no one know? 75 years where we've been taking photos of Earth from space and no one knows when the curvature of the Earth starts? Seems a little odd to me. So I'm not here to give you an answer because I don't know the answer. I can't go high enough to give you an answer. But shouldn't you have the answer already? I mean, I shouldn't have to provide the answer for you, right? The answer should be easily obtainable. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Have a good weekend, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.